Now, revisiting the XXXTentacion and Drake beef, I want to do a little bit of reminiscing on the XXXTentacion and Drake beef from 2017. So this video was actually inspired by the Drake gets called as a witness to the XXXTentacion trial news. I'm sure you've heard or at least seen something about it. It's been a really prominent headline in the news, somewhat controversial because of, the Drake killed X narrative. That's been a conspiracy since X died for reasons which we'll go over in this video. But back to Drake getting called as a witness. Dedrick Williams, which was the alleged getaway driver in the murder of X, hope he dies slow, his lawyer submitted a witness list to the court and Drake's name was on it. Essentially, it was being stated by his lawyer that the boy Aubrey, of all people, was somehow involved in X's death. And you know that Instagram story X put up a couple months before he passed? If anyone tries to kill me with champagne poppy, I'm snitching right now, X said. Well, that IG story was referenced by the lawyer as quote-unquote proof that Drake was involved. In the end, nothing really came out of this because the judge who's handling the X case ruled that Drake's involvement in the death of XXXTentacion was non-existent. Aside from this, another thing that inspired this video is this one line from Drake and 21 Savage's album Her Loss. The line I'm referring to is, I want to call a possible shot, a possible diss aimed at the late X. But before we talk about that, let's actually talk about this beef. I want to give you some context as to how this beef actually started in the first place. We're going to revisit it, look at what happened, what did X say, what did Drake respond back with, what was X thinking as he was going at Drake for what he felt like was foul.
No matter what anybody says, I didn't initiate shit. This nigga ran off with my shit. Everybody knew he ran off with my shit and they just trying to tell me to basically be quiet.
Back in 2017, while Drake was out in Amsterdam on tour performing, he previewed a record which was KMT from his More Life project. The snippet / preview of the record went viral on social media for two reasons. Number one, we're talking about Drake. When he previews any music, it goes kinda crazy, right? But the other reason was, of course, like a lot of us know, the flow on KMT sounded very much like another song that was blowing up at the time by this new artist who was on a rise, who at the time was actually locked up. The artist went by the name of XXXTentacion. This little KMT snippet started a war and X wanted all the smoke. In X's first interview, right when he was fresh out of prison, he told the story behind why he really called out Drake. According to X, Drake apparently reached out to someone close to X and was sending love after he had came across an X interview. According to X, Drake was really fucking with X and he was also really fucking with his partner, brother, and friend, Ski Mask. Apparently Drake, according to X, was supposed to contact him around that time. This was right before that KMT snippet surfaced. Despite the state of things, even after the flow still and accusations, even after all this had happened, X was still in the interview, showing love to Drake by saying, even though I disrespected him as a man, I still think he's a genius, he's a great artist, and has my respect. So Drake was apparently supposed to contact him, right? And as X is in jail, the KMT snippet of Drake performing in Amsterdam surfaced, and this is what X said regarding that.
Bro, I hit up a DJ that
Who did?
Drake.
Okay.
Drake hit up a DJ that I with. You feel me? And bro told me, he was like, yo, the nigga Drake watched your interview. He said he fuck with you and he fuck with your partner Ski Mask. He's like, yo, he's saying he go call your manager within the next few days.
Okay.
So I'm amped up, nigga. I fuck with Drake.
Yeah.
You feel me? Drake a genius.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Despite me disrespecting him as a man, because I can't respect him as a man, I respect that nigga career. That's a GOAT.
Okay.
That's a GOAT.
So you know how to differentiate the two?
I know. Corporately, that nigga is the GOAT.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I knew what I was doing when I said what I said, and I knew how to approach him. Because I know where he can't beat me at.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So, initially, he was supposed to contact one of my managers. So, he doesn't do it. That same fucking week, bro. I go on to, well, I can't go on to it obviously because I'm locked up. But
yeah.
I'm on the securest phone, you feel me, for this shit.
So you in jail, he's supposed to contact your manager, and then what happened?
He dropped the fucking video of previewing that shit in Amsterdam with some nigga from the UK. You know what I'm saying? He dropped the video. I was talking to my girl at the time, not the same bitch that got me arrested, a different girl.
Okay.
I was talking to her at the time, and she was like, yo, listen to, no, actually, it was my dog, Chris. I was on the phone with my dog, Chris. He was like, yo, you gotta listen to this shit. This nigga Drake a nigga. That's exactly what he said. He's like, this nigga Drake a you gotta listen to this shit. So he plays this shit. I hear da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, what the f? As soon as it started, like I knew he was getting that. And the funny thing is, we didn't discover it. The fan, like you said, the fans, because they're so cold. Like, it's like, I got a piece of the internet, you
Things later escalated to X taking out his frustration on Drake through Twitter. I'm not gonna say no names, but it's funny how one of my niggas hit me up saying, Drake, watch your interview and fucks with you, X said. Now this pussy nigga trying to play it safe and play it innocent. But it's cool. We all know Hotline Bling was a bite of Cha-Cha. Just some context behind what X said right there. I'm sure you're familiar with Hotline Bling by Drake. Virginia artist D.R.A.M back in early 2015 dropped a record called Cha-Cha. The song I would at least consider the original Hotline Bling. D.R.A.M rapped on a sample first. Drake did the same thing just a few months later with a little twist, right? After Hotline Bling came out, D.R.A.M strongly felt like Drake jacked his entire record, and just like XXXTentacion, he spoke out against Drake on Twitter, saying that performing in Toronto, Drake City, was bittersweet because people were comparing Cha-Cha to Hotline Bling. That's what X was referring to on the tweet, and for the record, by the way, Drake actually dissed D.R.A.M on her loss on this one line when he said, "Try to bring the drama to me, he ain't know how we cha-cha slide." Now, interesting enough, D.R.A.M actually responded to this diss on her loss and revealed something. He stated that Drake's bodyguards, I guess, ran up on him and beat him up. This entire situation went down like over 7 years ago, so the fact that Drake dissed D.R.A.M all these years later, that is a sign that he does hold grudges. He doesn't let shit go if he feels like you disrespected him. As for this X story, X died over 4 years ago. He also disrespected X, and I think that's relevant to bring up. Back to the X tweets. "I'm not the first nigga he bit, nor will I be the last. Drake a pussy nigga. Money don't buy you respect," X said. X continued and said, "Drake's career is almost over, and he better start investing money into real estate." Oh, this man was seeing red. Okay, that's a crazy statement even back then, but he said once it's all over, he really gonna see the quote-unquote fake love. X also said a couple things about Drake's mother. He called her cute and said that he wanted to hit it. X also posted this very interesting picture where it appears that Drake had a dig in his mouth. It wasn't him, it was a lookalike, by the way. Obviously, I won't show that because I'm not trying to get demonetized. After X absolutely obliterated Drake on social media, Drake responded to him on an interview and said this.
Like the other day, I dropped the song with Gigs, and I'm seeing all this shit on my IG under like some random picture of people being like, you took this kid's flow or whatever, right? So I'm just like, yo, what's happening to me right now, you know? So I'm sitting there, I'm trying to read, like figure out who they're talking about. I find out who they're talking about.
Is this the Extension guy?
I don't even think that's how you say his name. But yeah, that's
I tried to practice.
They call him
Extension.
X. But so anyway, I go and I find what song they're talking about, you know? And I listen to it. I'm like, okay, I see where people could draw like this comparison off of like the first two lines, whether it be the cadence or the rhyme pattern, whatever, you know. And I'm just like, yo, it's crazy that people think that after all this time, after all I've been through, that I'm the type of person to go pre some song that's on SoundCloud. It doesn't have like 2 plays. It has plays, you know, he has his cult following, and go and think that I'm gonna like take that and make it my own. Like, I'm not stupid. I'm not like a person like that, you know?
In an interview with DJ Academics from early 2018, XXXTentacion gave some additional details about why he really went at Drake. Part of the reason was disappointment and anger, as X said. According to X, Drake was actually one of his favorite artists before this entire thing went down. This is what he said about it on this very passionate rant about the situation.
Go check out Lil Bro. Go check out Lil Bro. You feel me? Go look at his music. Boom. Then I would have shut up. But otherwise, it's like you tried to sacrifice me, bro. You tried to sacrifice me. I'm facing life, which was one of my favorite rappers. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody loved Drake, bro. And I'm not going to say no names, nigga. A DJ hit me up. Not only a DJ, my manager at the time hit me up. Said, yo, this nigga Drake hit us up and he wants to talk to you. He said he watched the interview. He fucks with you. Bro, on God, bro. On my fucking life, bro. On my mom, bro. On my mom, fam. These niggas hit me up and said this shit, bro.
So from X's perspective, it wasn't just about the flow. The flow was just one little part about why he went at him. It had more to do with the fact that X at the time, given the fact that he was facing a substantial amount of time in prison, felt betrayed by this artist that he looked up to. This artist who allegedly stole his flow, pretended like he didn't really know who he was, and also didn't offer a helping hand. No pun intended. Do I think X took the right approach to this entire thing? I don't think so. I think X was extremely emotional during this whole ordeal, and he happened to take out his anger on Drake because he had so many things that were going wrong in his life at the time despite the success he was seeing. That being the case, despite the extreme measures he took, I can see why things turned out the way they did. As a new artist, like X was, seemingly having your creation stolen from you by one of the biggest artists in the world will obviously create a chip on your shoulder. And since X was an extreme artist in every way possible, Drake saw the wrath of his anger, and that's that. Aside from that, the most recent possible diss aimed at X is what Drake said on the record on BS from Her Loss. So on a record on BS from Her Loss, Drake says the following: damn, maybe I should do a 20, maybe I should break that 20, do a 10, maybe I should break that 10, do a 5, then if it gets live, do a 5 again. And on this part right here, the apparent X diss, he says if he held his tongue on that live, he'd be alive again. Damn. Exactly what live could Drake be talking about? Well, there's a lot of instances where X dissed Drake, but the specific live he could be talking about is this one right here.
Dude, just drop a diss on Drake and end his career. Nah, I'm not finna shoot the gun. If he not pussy, he'll diss me. I want him to diss me first. I counterattack. I always counterattack. I don't initiate things. I always counterattack. Just like in this situation, no matter what anybody says, I didn't initiate shit. This nigga ran off with my shit. Everybody knew he ran off with my shit, and they just trying to tell me to basically be quiet. No, y'all can suck my anybody that want me to be quiet, and not antagonize this nigga and keep talking about this nigga and disrespecting the fuck out this nigga, then you can suck my dick and kill yourself. Anybody that wants me to anybody that basically wants me to turn around and get fucked in the ass, that, my nigga, bro, nobody's gonna openly disrespect the fuck out of me and disrespect my craft when I'm 19 years old. That motherfucker, what is he, like 60? Like 65? Or isn't he? Didn't he get like surgery on his arms or some shit? Didn't he get like plastic surgery? Didn't you go see like Dr. 300 like 3 times?
Personally, if you ask me, given everything we've talked about, I do think this was a subtle shot at X. Judging from the story we talked about with D.R.A.M, Drake dissed D.R.A.M over 7 years after he had called him out. So I don't think this line right here he dropped, seemingly aimed at X, can be brushed off as nothing, especially given the history. There's also a couple other things I want to bring up, and I talked about this particular story back in 2018, but the Sicko Mode music video. On a Sicko Mode music video, for anyone who doesn't know, there's this little scene on the music video around 4 minutes and 23 seconds when Drake says out like a light, and then a meteor drops on his character in the music video that appears to be XXXTentacion. If you're looking at the screen right now, there's the character right there, and if you ask me, that does look a lot like X, but the character of course ends up dying, and till this day there's still conversations about whether or not that was X. On June 29, 2018, 11 days after the death of XXXTentacion, Drake of course dropped his Scorpion album, and on a song Mob Ties, he said the following: Louis bags in exchange for body bags is the lyrics. X, like most of us know at this point, died after he was the victim of a robbery. He had 50 racks in his Louis bag. So here's another thing a lot of people have been bringing up. Was that a shot at X? I don't think it was specifically at X, but then again, who knows, it could be we're talking about Drake. Also, the line from I'm Upset when he says, I go out on tour and I say I'm drinking less, end up getting loose, end up getting pictures from my ex, SMS, triple X, that's the only time I ever shoot below the neck. Why you keep on shooting if you know that nigga dead? That's the only kind of shit that gets you some respect. After this entire situation, beef, or deal, whatever you want to call it, shortly after X's passing, Ski Mask linked up with Drake and stated that he was a fan of X and that he wanted positivity for all of them. Whether or not that's true, I don't know, but that's what Ski Mask the Slump God, one of the closest people to X, said. So that's XXXTentacion and Drake beef revisited. Any thoughts on his beef? Y'all think X took it too far? Do you think Drake actually stole his flow? And do you think that line from Her Loss, you know, the song On BS, was aimed at X? Curious to hear what you have to say. So yeah, definitely let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, have a good day, okay? I'm out this bitch, okay? Hey, I'm out. Peace.